at least on 2 of them, to bring them in on wheels, take off the RV package, if you will, and put them down and follow the guidelines to make them real property.
Because if that's the case, then we don't have to change anything, our code allows for that. It becomes real property, it's a house the bank will loan on. Because I guess the other question, Jim, is if we buy those and set them up for the hospital, who owns that and who's taking care of it? Are we giving it to the hospital? Is that even-
Yeah, it's gonna be the hospital, our money. We have no investment, the city has no involvement in other than run with the plan.
Well, I mean, if we're using our ARPA money because we don't get something else, so we're buying them, we just are donating that to the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
No,
I think the other thing too is, it's just so commendable because we're really being forward thinking because lifestyles have changed greatly. And when you think about where we are, young people don't want to be saddled with the mortgages of huge traditional homes because they want to buy and have all of those things. And if you think about it, if you gotta go 4 hours this way, because young people want to live here, but when they want city, they want city. So if they can have what they feel like is a home that they can afford and still have those toys, but be able to afford to put gas in their tank when they want to go somewhere else, all of that makes a big difference. And we have to understand that just because it's not what we have lived in traditionally as older people in the past, doesn't mean bringing something tiny is not as stable, as wonderful, and cannot be as beautiful as many neighborhoods that we've all lived in. So I just think it's just very, very forward thinking. And then again, I'm biased because I'll interview someone and they'll say, I got $100,000 worth of debt, got a car note, I can't afford to pay $1,200 to live in an apartment, I can't come work for you. And somebody amazing has walked out the door.
so we've got 4 items open here. I'm going to try to see how we can close some of these. Let's start with item 5. Jim, that's the one that we wanted to just let go for the moment.
Yeah, I think we're pretty well covered other than the park model that building inspector will work on.
I think that, and Leo, correct me if I'm wrong, the best way to handle that would just be a motion to table, and then we can bring that back or not down the road. Would you be willing to make that one?
Yeah. I made a motion to table item B5, bring back.
Do I have a second for the motion to table? Second from Councilwoman Williams Harper, all in favor of tabling item 5. Any opposed? Okay, and then,
Don't forget them before.
right, number 4. So, well, let's deal with 6 and 7 and we'll go back to 4. So on item 6, if we could have the motion include purchasing whatever it is built to mobile home standards instead of RV standards, I think that would.
I have a problem with that, and I'll tell you why. The country is doing tiny homes without your dream of a mobile home sticker thing on it. You're gonna go down here to Vegas and tell this lady, hey, we might buy some homes, can you change them and modify them to the way you wanna see it? No, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I thought
Go
you
with
said we
what's-
could buy that. There were places that bought that, and I think there's a problem with the legality of
The
it.
one Donna was talking about was the parked ones. These
This
are-
one went amok.
Yeah, they were the park view ones. They're the ones that match up. Tiny homes are being constructed all around the country.
Well, I'm assuming
And then
this
you want
is a
something-
zone for RVs and mobile homes.
But that's what she's talking about. And we're trying to say these tiny homes, you want this person down here, the Housing Partners International, go in there and change the design of their building so it gets a mobile home sticker, qualify for that. It's a tiny home. You said you come up there and you take the wheels off. I am totally confused and
I share your confusion then, because I think if we do that, my understanding is we would have to change the zoning of that what the hospital's talking about.
To allow for
To allow for
mobile.
RVs and mobile.
Correct.
Because it's currently not zoned for that.
Yes, and it really all just comes down to the standard in which these are built to. You know, the ANSI standard and the NFPA standards, there's no conversion to real property. So it's always going to be an RV no matter what you do with the zoning. It's always going to be separated from the land. You can connect it to permanent utilities, you follow state law. The HUD ones are the ones that you can convert to real property, so.
Well, then I'll defer to you a recommendation on that, because I'm with Councilman Hall, I'm confused on the back and forth and what's allowed and what isn't, and what we would even need to change.
But let me clarify. You said contact these people and see if they could build it to meet your idea. You don't have to have them build it to meet your idea, Mr. Mayor. They're being built every day. And it's happening in the country. They're not gonna do something for Nathan Robertson because he wants to change it.
I'm not asking them to change it, Jim. I'm asking if there has to be a zoning change for this.
And that's his area. He said, we can do every
And
bit
that's
of
what I
this."
said, I will defer to him on the recommendation.
Okay, you gonna go down there and call any of these housing things, say, hey, can you change your construction of these here so they fit easily without less hassle? Is that necessary?
So the question of whether or not you want to permit the RVs, the standard built RVs, hard model homes to be, placed in the city is really a political question, and it's not necessarily a question for me. I'm just speaking to the standards to which they're built and the conversion, in the long-term, I guess, use of these things. So, as far as I know, the mobile home standard, the park model RVs may very well be allowed per the zoning ordinance. I would have to review it to make sure that there's no language in there that specifies it's required to be a HUD certified building to be placed in that zone. Again, in the zoning that I've spoke to today, it's just the tiny homes, and that's the ones that are permanent foundations they build. And those are allowed in all the zones that we have in here. So it really just kind of depends on the standards in which you would like to proceed, as far as placing these things on different zones.
And I think they're currently allowed in all the zones, but I would suggest if we take a look at SB 150, the new bill that came down, it requires cities and counties to adopt ordinances that establish zoning districts for two homes. And so that's why an ordinance would be necessary. I think it would be best to establish these zoning districts.
Can the ordinance be tailored to allow park model RVs, but exclude someone pulling up a camp trailer?
I would think so, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it depends on how they interpret the law and whether or not tiny homes and park model RVs are considered tiny homes under that law. So, but I can't speak to that.
I'll entertain a motion on
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to take off items number 4, 5, 6, and 7, all the way off the agenda, until we get some more research. This is the typical action of government, holding back. I just stated, our codes are outdated, and we're sitting here arguing over something that's already been told we can modify and do it. And people, oh, what about this one? We gotta quit talking about it and act on it. Other cities, towns are developing this. Why does the cities either have to be way in the backwoods on this?
Just looking for clarification.
Yeah, you're looking for clarification. This is denying and slowing the
I'm not
process down.
asking you to take them off or to slow it down or anything else.
You are
If you'd like to
slowing
make
this
a
process
motion,
down, Mr. Mayor.
Go for it. I'm entertaining a motion on the item. Please, if there's something you'd like to add. Please come to the mic.
Hi, please state your name. Teresa Siciliana. Y'all got very passionate very quick. Has anyone done a study to see if there's even a demand for this?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
If there's a demand for it?
as done back from the housing committee stage.
Did you do it, so there's like a demand for it?
We did a value needs assessment that was, sorry, George.
No, you're not.
Come stand by me.
The White County Main Street Housing Committee did a value needs assessment study that was done in conjunction with our local realtors and also the University of Nevada, Reno. And what we found is we have a need for everything. We have a need for tiny homes, we have a need for middle homes, we have a need for high-end homes, we have a need for apartments, we have a need for everything. And if I could add one thing on, I understand where Jim's frustration is coming from because we've bantered this back and forth since 2019, and one of the suggestions that we had is exactly what Winnemucca did with these homes, because the ones that you see in the picture, they're all lined up. They